Recording.
Try to get that closer on. Here, let me get on this side. This is American La France. I remember almost everything when he built this, you know. This is a working model. This has got it's got crankshafts, pistons, steam, and I don't know if anybody's touched it. I don't even want to touch it, but he's got the pistons in there, the rings, crankshaft, the pump, the boiler. The boiler's got all the tubes in it. In fact, I braced up the boiler for him. It's supposed to be a working model. He's never fired it up, and he's afraid of anything tarnishing here. It's supposed to shoot 35 feet of water, so I don't know. But if you can kind of zoom in and look at the, here, get a size of how big this is. Alright, here's the wheel. You know, it's a big unit. It's 17 inches tall and 36 inches long. There's a nickel. Yeah.
There's a nickel just to give an idea.
Yep.
Yep.
The lanterns each have wicks in them too.
The lanterns even have wicks in them. Look at the detail on that. I mean, the detail on this is phenomenal. The more you look at it, the more you see detail. I think this is the best. I would say this is probably the best thing he's ever built.
From what I understand is when he bought some of the castings for this, he didn't like them. Like the front springs, the leaf springs there, he didn't like them.
Solid aluminum castings. He didn't like that.
He didn't like them, so he made all his individual springs.
Now the wheels, the outer rim is aluminum.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah.
What materials were used in building it?
Yeah. The tires are rubber. He turned the rubber on the lathe from a solid chunk of rubber. The rims are aluminum. The spokes are maple. And naturally the hubs are brass. But what is unique about this is every nut and bolt is scaled to thread size. He used, when he scaled it down, it was just an odd thread size and an odd, it's odd. So he had to make all his own taps and dies to make the screws and nuts. And it's all made, all the screws and nuts are made out of stainless.
I want to capture the name. With the light shining on it. American La France fire engine, crafted by Nicholas Rossi.
Oh, he's got that right on there, huh?
Yeah, he's got it right on there.
That's good. That's good. But look at, try to, I don't know if you can get in there, just try to capture the connecting rods and the crankshaft and, this, by the way, this is all handmade. This is no bought parts and put together. Everything here is handmade.
Now he has a coal bin back here too, right?
He's got the coal bin? Yeah, let me see if I can, let me see if I can get the light up there. I don't know, try to get inside the boiler too.
The coal bin, the shovel. Look at the little shovel here. The shovel. The rake.
That's all handmade. That's not like he bought the little shovel. He made the shovel.
Look at the little shovel.
And you got the...
I would have to say that that's actually coal in there too.
There is coal in there. Just inside the boiler. It's
I don't
kind of
think
hard
you
to
can zoom
see.
But the boiler is a working boiler. It's supposed to be a working boiler. Like I said, he's never fired it up, but all the plates are in there and the
So
tube.
what you're saying is these gauges should work.
Everything should work.
Now he made those gauges?
He made everything. Where he got the dials from the gauges is like a Granger's book. When they had the advertising the gauges, pictures of gauge, and he cut the dial out of paper. That's how he made those. But the more you keep looking, the more detail you see it, and I don't care who it is. You can look at this all day long.
You can spend hours looking
and
at
it's
this
perfect.
and find, just on little sections.
He even made the cobblestones.
So what material are we talking about? We obviously have brass, aluminum.
Brass, copper, aluminum, maple,
Stainless.
stainless.
Look at the little oil can.
That was a good question. And I'm going to tell you something. When he was following the blueprints, because he read blueprints all his life, he was a machinist, and he found errors in the blueprints. And if he followed the blueprints, there would have been problems. Either something out of proportion, or it wouldn't fit properly. Even the oil cup. You get the oil cup. Yeah, Nicholas Rossi. It's amazing, isn't it?
You know, you can't think of enough questions to ask when you see something
Yeah.
like this, because
Yeah, you could
It's-
study this for hours, and there's something new you see. You would see.
and the eagle on top.
Now
Just-
the eagle on top, from what I understand,
The eagle on top is the only thing he didn't make, but the eagle had his head turned, looking off to the side. So he had to cut the head and straighten the head out, which you can't even tell. You can study it for...
so he was a doctor also.
Yeah, that's the only thing he didn't make, but he still had to modify it to be appropriate. Order chain link. See all the chain links? That's not a bought chain, that's a
He made all
chain.
the links.
Yeah, all the links are made. Everything on here is made. Nothing was bought, nothing was say, let me run the Durfee wheel or wherever, and let me get some brass chain, I'll make some chain, that'll work. He never said that'll work. He had to make it, to make it work. Now,
And he made dies and taps for the screws. He made them.
in fact, I went
you
down the
couldn't-
cellar, and he's got one of them plastic, you know, plastic trays with the little bins in it?
Yep.
And he says, here, take a look at these. So I opened the bin, and it's all stainless screws, nuts, and washers. I says, yeah. I says, they're all stainless. He says, yeah. I said, where'd you buy these? He started laughing. Buy them. He says, I made every one of them. I says, come on. Which I shouldn't have doubted him, because I knew his quality of workmanship. And he shows me all the taps and all the dies that he made. And you can tell they're made because they're blued and everything. Well, you don't get that with a board.
And the hours involved in just making tools to make the product
Right.
Tools,
is
jigs.
mind-boggling in itself.
So I says, Dad, why don't you just get like a 32 or something? So he started laughing. He says, no,
Because it just wasn't him.
it wouldn't be the scale.
And it wasn't him.
I says, well, who's
That's it.
gonna know? He says, I'll know.
There you go. That's it.
But like I said, it's very hard. There's no sense in trying to capture the other side because it's basically same thing as this side. Yeah. Yep.
The
But-
brakes work.
You got to see this here.
See the brake?
Oh, look at that. And smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth as silk.
Follow the mechanism through. Follow the mechanism through.
With adjusters and all.
Yep. Every clevis, everything is handmade. There's nothing here he didn't make.
Now, how small of a lathe would you need to make something like
It's
that?
not how small the lathe. Oh no, he's only got a 6-inch lathe. But the thing is, how do you see it?
How do you see it? Exactly. How do you handle it?
Wheel spin.
These are all the. I'd rather not touch on them, but
Yeah, I know.
these are all the nozzles, the hose, all the fittings. You know, everything's
threaded.
made. It's all threaded. Everything's threaded on the lathe.
He even made the strainer on the back, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't pick up rocks from the ponds or whatever.
Like I said, it's got the pistons with the rings on it, and he made it by blueprint. But
He
he was
never-
always afraid to fire it
He
up.
never wanted to fire it up because he was afraid it was going to tarnish a lot of
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah. I mean, you can go on all day here. These, he didn't want to cut. He didn't want to cut these. But the case would have been too big.
right.
So he did cut them. But just in that alone, I mean, the detail is, you know, you can look at it all day long. The detail is phenomenal and everything in there. But geez, just the leaf springs, little work in the leaf springs and the hubs.
So did you ever actually come up with a scale number on this? For the,
He probably did.
what
Frank.
scale it is?
I don't know. He'd know.
And what year is this? What year of I
He started building this, oh jeez. It took him 13 years. He got 13 total.
1963.
63, because I remember I was a kid, and I'd be watching. I know he had the wheels, or the spokes made. I remember cutting all the spokes on everything.
Okay.
Alright, this is just a little continuation. We had a little break there. It took him 13 years to build it. I know that. I know that for sure.
And the starting year, he started in 1963.
1963
yeah.
from what,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. And this represents what year vehicle, or what?
Turn of the century. It's horse-drawn.
1900.
Late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
It's horse-drawn. It's steam, fully steam. There's not much more to talk about other than
It's definitely not a kit hobby type thing.
no.
This is definitely a man that had a talent that was just.
Let me put it
beyond-
to you this way here. It's the only one in the world like this.
At this quality.
There may be other ones that were built, but not of this quality.
Right.
And that I can verify. You could keep the camera on there all day long, and you're not going to find an error in it. You're not going to see something out of proportion. You're not going to see something where the machining is off just a little. Everything is precise. It's one of a kind. In fact, everything we're going to show you today is one of a kind. There's no replicas,
It's a beautiful piece for an art gallery.
art gallery, or
Or a conversation piece in a, some type of a art collection.
art collection.
Would
Yeah.
be just phenomenal.
Somebody that collects steam engines.
You know who'd like to see it? You know who'd find this fascinating would be Jay Leno.
Jay Leno would like
Jay
this.
Leno would appreciate this here because he's heavy duty in the steam.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just for him to look at it or whatever, I think he'd be amazed. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are into fire engines and steam engines and want the one of a kind of
and
thing.
also into fine quality, perfect quality and workmanship.
Oh, yeah.
That's
What-
the key here.
Like I says,
You can't buy. You just can't buy work like this. You cannot do it.
we showed it to some of the best as far as machinists and people who really, and they've studied it, and nobody can come up with something and say, well, geez, this doesn't look right, or this doesn't fit right, or the threads are, something's off. There's nothing off. Look at the seat.
Put the light on the seat.
Yeah.
The seat is all padded.
Even the seat, look at the detail in the seat. It's one of a kind. I'll put this up against anything in the world. It's one of a kind. There's nothing else like it. I'm sure other people attempted to build models, but you're not going to find this type of quality. Nowhere. Nowhere. Your little wheel spin. Yeah.
And smooth.
Look at it, just the spokes, and look at the hubs, and I don't care where you look at. You can study it all day long. It just
And
keeps
that's
getting,
the fun part
Now
about it.
the
it keeps getting
tires,
more and more interesting.
the tires, he had a square block of rubber,
Yeah.
and he cut the outside one first, and then he cut the inside one
Out of
first
that
out of the
size.
same rubber.
Right.
In
Right.
fact, the rubber I think came from U.S. Rubber.
Really,
He
huh?
had a cousin that worked there.
But like I said, you can study it all day long, and it just, the more you look at it, the more fascinating it is. All right, we have a bunch of models, so let's go on to the
Okay,
next
let's
one.
go on to the next one.
And what do we have next?
This is the, an 1885 Daimler.
Got a motorcycle.
This is everything here is hand built. Nothing is bought, sold, nothing is, in fact, it's his own scale. So it's the only one in the world of this right now.
It appears
Of this
mostly-
size.
Mostly to be wood.
I know one of the manufacturers, like I can't remember if it was Danbury Mint or Franklin Mint, had one. So what he did is he bought it, he took it all apart, and he rescaled it to his size. He upscaled it,
And gave him actually more detail.
and
than-
gave it more
than-
detail than the model did have.
Now,
That's
this
the
has
way he
got
was.
Seat's very interesting. Looks like a horse saddle.
This has got, see the belt tensioner?
Look at that.
That's the belt tensioner. Of course, this doesn't have the details of a fire engine because it's a different
It's a
model
different, yeah.
altogether.
It's
But
cool.
everything here, all the gear, the main gear and the rear wheel and the drive gear, everything is, I don't know.
I think he used all ash, but I'm not sure.
But the chances are it's the same wood as the original one that was built. This is the first motorcycle in the world. This is the first motorcycle ever built.
Just trying to capture the name of the model.
It's made by Nicholas Rossi. He was a machinist all his life. In fact, he just passed away at 98 years old.
So do we have an idea of what time in that this represents?
It's 1885.
Oh, 1885.
1885. Now this is part of Mercedes, Daimler, I believe. Back in the day.
Now, is that a rubber tie? Is that a rubber top on?
No, it couldn't have been one. They must have had steel rims, like a horse and carriage.
It looks that way. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say steel
Yeah.
rims back then.
So it's a steel band he made.
Imagine a wooden motorcycle.
He made all the wheels, all the wooden spokes. Made everything.
Oh, is this gasoline?
Gasoline, yeah. Good question.
And what's this little
Yeah,
crank
gasoline.
on top?
I don't know. That might be the speed.
Oh, okay.
Now you reach behind you, turn that there, and that was the speed. I don't know much about it. If you go on the internet, you can find a lot of detail of how these ran, and there's a little crank here too.
Look at the detail on the little step.
There's a crank here.
What's that, the crank?
I guess that's the crank to get started. That's the crank to start.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hand size. Get a hand size and you get a good idea how big this is. It's approximately, the unit itself is approximately, I would say maybe 14, 15 inches long. Yeah, quarter.
And then there's a 25-cent piece. Give you an idea of the
Scale.
size, the scale.
Yep.
And it does have side wheels on it, like a training wheel.
I
Yeah.
think he made this one inch scale.
I don't know.
In other words, 1 inch would equal.
Yep.
But again, the size and what it is the only one in the world. You can't take the set and have like a first motorcycle contest or show and you're going to see two the same size.
Right.
This is one of size.
So we don't really know what scale it is, but
No, I don't know.
it's his scale.
In fact, he never told me.
He's probably a true scale of
Like I said, the seat's very interesting in itself. Just
Yeah.
the texture,
the
everything. Huh?
texture of it, and it's so close to looking like a horse saddle. And right inside here, you can see
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
under the seat.
That's a good shot, bud.
Yeah.
Just incredible, the workmanship in.
He would make a pot. He didn't like it. He'd make another pot. He had excess pots when he was done that just weren't up to the standard he wanted.
Well, it shows.
Then he,
Definitely shows.
that's the way he was. It had to be perfect, ultra perfect.
Alright, let's move on. We got more. There's a DeWitt Clinton train. Yeah, let's remove this. This is steam fired. Most naturally, DeWitt Clinton. This is the world's first passenger train. Again, all handmade. Nothing bought. Nothing substituted. Right from scratch. From solid brass. Whether it be a solid chunk of brass or brass plate or whatever it might be.
But again, to give you the idea of scale, it's a quarter. A new quarter. You can't really tell which one is which today, but
Is that a real quarter?
I hope it's a real quarter.
It's a real quarter worth 3 cents.
There you go.
We'll start off with the engine.
Start off with the engine. Just look at the time spent in the engine. The rivets. The boiler. All the handles, the valves, the cranks. Right down to the railroad tracks.
That's what I was just going to say, not to mention the track itself to
Yeah.
ride on, which is phenomenal.
Everything,
Even the sand under it.
everything handmade. Look at the hours and the time, Jesus. Now this, I'm not sure, but every little brass hex nut is probably handmade with the scaled down thread size. And again, this is one of a kind.
Now, how do you duplicate these rivets? I mean, what's going on with that?
It's possible he made them. It's very possible he made them.
Well, obviously you're not going to find this anywhere, that's for
yeah,
sure.
chances are he made everyone. Chances are he made
We'll
everyone.
go to the tender.
If not, there's so many of them.
And the barrel?
He made the barrel, the wood, everything. Little logs in there.
Check
Look at the
out
little
that
chair.
seat.
The seat in the back.
Look at that seat. This is phenomenal thing. I've never seen this piece before.
Oh,
This
you
is
never
just-
saw this
No,
one?
I've never seen this. Boy, did I miss a lot. You could just sit here for hours
Yeah, you can sit here for hours and just look.
and enjoy this and learn something, actually learn something. And for a man to have to go to work, his 40 hours a week also,
50.
or 50 hours a week, and raise a family successfully,
He did it.
he did it all. And just that shows the love he had for this.
Each car has all the interior in it too, all cloth.
Well,
Look at all the
I wouldn't
brass
even
work.
want to guess if the door opens or
Look up
not.
on top of the rails here. And not only he had to make one, he had to make 2, 4, 6 of them.
You just hate to even touch it.
There's 3 of the cars.
The braking system on it, on the wheels.
Those don't open, do they?
I don't think so. How's the top of the cars look?
The body's most naturally probably maple, and they're all hand carved. All hand carved. All the leaf springs, everything you see here. No corners cut. And steam. You know,
And remember,
Anybody's
to have to make the, 3 cars that looked identical.
Exactly.
Making one.
Now, he made this from a photograph. He didn't have plans or nothing.
What I'm saying is to make one, and if it was, let's just say it was a little different, you wouldn't know it until you got to, now you're putting 3 of them side by side. It looks like the same one all the time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just not, that's mind-boggling. It really is.
And
The
total-
hinges,
Hinges.
Well, the hinges on the
I checked the
doors.
door, yeah, the doors I don't believe open.
yeah, but they sure look like they were.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
it is so
That's-
perfect in scale, and the workmanship is so fine that you got to question whether
Yeah.
they open or not.
Right.
I'm questioning it now.
I hate to see
I don't
anything
think
great
they'll
on
open.
it. So.
Yeah, I-
Even the curtains above the doors.
But
and
for it to be
windows.
that perfect to say, does it open? I mean, that's going to make you think.
Right.
And not only that, how many wheels did he have to make?
There you go. Identical. 12 wheels identical.
And this thing is what, 4 feet long?
Well, let's not forget the coal car.
The coal car.
Oh, I should say the wood.
They called that a tender.
A tender, I'm
Tender.
sorry.
DeWitt Clinton.
Look at the rivets on that.
Yeah, huh?
It's a little dusty, but a fine brush.
Well, that's why he made the covers too.
Imagine if he didn't make the covers.
Yeah, right.
How would you leave that out? No way.
Beautiful, huh?
For a train lover, this is the ultimate.
Yeah,
Really,
oh, yeah.
I mean,
Train it.
anyone that has a
Anything with wheels.
collection of trains and has to appreciate something like this.
What if I, yeah. Here you go. This is 1896 Ford quadricycle. Alright, this is the world's first Ford.
Okay, like I said, these were made by another manufacturer, like
Here's-
Franklin Mint.
To show you the size of it, here's a scale. Alright,
We'll use the quarter again.
and there's the quarter.
And he bought the model, and he took it apart, and he scaled it up and made it larger
Now
from his
this,
own recreation.
this is another one of a kind. Everything you'll see today is one of a kind. Everything here is handmade. Now, if you want to focus in on the wheels, every spoke and every adjustment is handmade. These are adjustable spokes. Alright, now I remember when after he got the wheels done, he held one in his hand. I don't know if I can pick this up. Just like, I don't know how he's going to fasten. Go in here, but, and he spun the wheel, and it ran so true, right here, resting on the rubber, you got a flat spot. But the wheel ran so true without the tire, when he spun it, it was, I had to be within 1,000. All the center hubs, all handmade. Every spoke handmade.
I think he's even got the valve stems. Right there, the
Right
little
there.
valve stem.
That's
Right
the
there,
valve
see
stem.
it? The valve stems. Of course, there's no air in these, but that's, the chain,
Chain,
he
handmade.
made every link. Every link, he made a jig, and he stamped every link. Right to scale.
Oh, check out that bell in front.
This was Henry Ford's first car, I think.
Yeah.
Quadricycle.
Quadricycle. By the way, that seat, I believe, is all wood.
All wood. And he made it look like
Yeah,
material.
it looks just like material. Look at the handbrake. Look at the handbrake. Look at
That
the
wood,
detail.
the stairs too, I think.
Oh, it stairs.
Everything
just don't
works.
wanna-
The brake works.
Tommy, try to get the backside there.
The flywheel.
Look at the detail on that.
Of course, that's the back. The back of the seat looks like a mirror.
One of a kind. What are the pulleys, the flat pulleys, all the drive pulleys. Look at the valves. All the valves on the back of the cylinders. Detail, huh? Just in the wheels.
Oh, the detail is front.
Just in the wheels.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal.
Maybe you can get underneath it a little bit, take a look.
All the plumbing is all scaled down to what it should be.
And like you said, just the time alone of making those spokes adjustable. And,
That's time. How many spokes?
oh God,
Don't forget, you had to make every spoke, bend them, put the little head on them, run them through the spinners. He made all the spindles, made all the nuts, made everything there. Everything's made. Most actually, he didn't make the rubber tire because that was actually a rubber hose, a white one. But
Okay.
it was perfect for that.
but still you can't see a seam in that.
Yeah, right.
Even though it is a hose, it's an endless hose, look at that.
Yeah,
Oh, just about,
just about.
just about, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, really amazing. If I could pick up on it just a little. I'd rather not touch it. But, like I said, he spun the wheel and I said, geez. He said, look, you can't get a bicycle wheel to run smooth. Perfect, you know? It's going to have a little bit of run out. Again, one of a kind.
And it was not a kit. Look at the light. Look at the detail on that lamp.
Yeah. All handmade. Every bit of it. You even got the turn screw for the adjustment there.
Really?
You even got the little red reflector on the inside.
Yeah, I saw the red reflector.
Oh, yeah, you got one on that side.
Yeah.
Yep. And the bell with the coils, and I'm sure it's not a working bell.
You're not sure, are you?
Well, you got to draw the line somewhere.
You're right.
To the best of my knowledge, it's not a working model. It's a moving model, but it's not a working model. All right, let's move on to the next one. We've got a lot to show here today. This right here is a 1886 Benz, world's first automobile. This is it. This is the grand ancestor of what you're driving today, believe it or not. Now, look at the detail on this one. Where do you start? Again, everything handmade. Nothing bought. Nothing substituted. Everything created from scratch.
Just the time, again, into the wheels.
Just the wheels.
Just the wheel. Look at the spokes on this one.
And now you're dealing with actually no adjustment here, so you would have to make them perfect just so that they all
Right.
pull in the same way. It's just,
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
Yeah, exactly, huh?
Wow, where do you find time to eat? I mean, it's...
he loves it. Chain. All every link handmade. Everything you see here, everything you see, nothing bought. I'm sure he's got a piston in there. Yep, there we go. Yeah. Here's a crankshaft, the connecting rod. Yeah, there's a piston in there. I knew he wouldn't cut corners. But all the beveled gears, everything you see here, handmade. Leaf springs, look at the leaf springs, the detail on the leaf springs. Yeah, let me get out of the way a little bit here.
Again, all the plumbing scaled right down to what it should be.
But again, like you said, the gears, when you take a look at that gear and find it just, as it rotates, it's just perfect right around.
Perfect.
I mean, to do that, it's just,
Look at the flywheel.
it's mind-boggling.
It's like it's all machined. It's all perfect.
It's all turned on the lathe. It was a solid disc, and with a jeweler saw, he cut all. No, it's perfect. I bet you if you try to balance it, you can't because it's already balanced.
We never seen them. It was always in the cellar, building.
I don't know if this wasn't steam, was it? No.
But to be talented in just metals and wood and thought
And rubber.
and rubber and just anything you put in his hand was just turned out 100%.
Yep.
Turned out 100%. Even the paint, the quality of the finish, and just remember, time in cleaning your metals to make it look like this is just unbelievable.
All the slats.
Yeah.
And to make your own tools, obviously, to do this,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because where do you find it?
You can't find it, so you got to make them.
That's it.
And actually, time wasn't time wasn't a problem. If it took them, I've seen them. Oh, we'll get to that in a little bit. I see that set of Roman numerals on the clock. He's made 3 sets of those, and you can study them and see how intricate they are.
We'll get to that.
And he made them out of brass. I'll explain the Roman numerals to you later. Okay, well, that's it. We have the Wells Fargo Stagecoach. Now this one here, I was a baby when he made this one. This is all maple. It's all maple. Everything here is made. Nothing bought, nothing substituted, made right from scratch. Here's your scale. Here's a quarter.
Nickel.
Nickel. That's worth about a penny, but that's a nickel. Thanks, Bill.
No problem, Jack.
The only thing he never did with the set was it's striped and it says Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
As much as he could do, he couldn't pinstripe, and
He striped the wheels.
Yeah, he striped the wheels, but he never had a pinstripe. That's the only thing that had to be done. But this is really
handmade.
amazing. All the wheels, the brakes, the brake works. Yeah, see the brakes work? No, it's a working model, but actually it's working. It doesn't have to run.
I think the springs work too.
If you had some tiny horses, you could actually, and tiny people, you can actually use it. You see the railing up here? All right. I don't know how many of those he got until he got it into proportion. 'Cause I don't know if he had a blueprint on this. Chances are he didn't have prints on this.
I take a photograph.
Probably photograph.
Out of Popular Mechanics or something. I forget. Life magazine.
But he had to make several different bends and all until he got it just right. In fact, he used coat hanger to make those.
Yeah, that's right. That's coat hanger.
But look at the work in the carriage. Just, this actually pivots and everything. And again, on this one here, like a fire engine, he chopped it off to fit inside the case. But this actually was supposed to come way out to here because I think it was either 4 horses or 6 horse.
Well, he never wanted to put horses on anything because he said it'll take away from the model.
That's because he didn't make the horse.
Right, yeah, exactly.
If you could make the horses, it would have
They would have been
horses.
horses, right.
But
Even got little things on the windows, one of those like safety straps.
probably so to hang on to get up. Probably to get out of the seat.
See 'em?
Oh yeah, that's armrest, eh?
I don't know.
Or maybe the shades come down.
Oh, maybe something to hold the shades.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
Go slow with the camera.
Let me get a picture of the front.
Slow down with the camera. That's what he said.